Okay, it's Sunday, which means it's time to go to Reddit, except that I didn't actually have to go to Reddit this week. Because there were actually enough questions in the Discord that I was able to get the usual number of questions I like to answer without going to Reddit at all, which is fantastic news for me, frankly, because I didn't have to go and look at that place. So we're going to answer those questions from the Discord right now while some random games that I plucked out of my email play in the background. These will be coming up in the next few days, hopefully, as long as Blizzard doesn't suddenly drop a patch on me out of nowhere. So, first up is, should you still report throwing stick stacks even if they give you 3 SR? Yes, it's still gameplay sabotage, even if you were benefiting from it. Like, yes, you should still report people that are obviously throwing, regardless of if you beat them or not. So anyway, next up is, how do you recommend trying to overcome negative biases towards heroes you really don't enjoy playing? Like, for example, I really don't like Ana, and I'm trying to overcome my bias towards her, but I can't stand playing her, so I think I would have a hard time playing her to understand how Ana players feel. Don't play the hero if you don't like playing them. Like, this is an inevitability of life. Some things are just not gonna jive with you personally, right? Like, you're not gonna enjoy playing every hero in the game, and you shouldn't expect to either. There are gonna be some sorts of heroes you just don't enjoy playing. I, for example, play a lot of tanks and I play a lot of supports. I'm sorry, I banged the table. I play a lot of tanks and I play a lot of supports, but I hate playing Orisa, and I hate playing Baptiste. So I don't play them. Because that is just a miserable time I spend playing the video game, so I don't do it. And like, I suppose, theoretically, if I spent enough time playing those heroes, I could Stockholm Syndrome myself into enjoying it, but simultaneously, I don't want to do that. You know? It's just part of life. Some things you enjoy and some things you don't. There's not really a way to overcome that shy of just like rewriting your personality, which tragically not particularly viable yet. Maybe one day science will catch up with that desire, but not today, not today. I'm sorry, I can see a bit of the fucking green screen in the background. Oh, I can still see it, but it's good enough. Yeah, like, I don't have any advice for overcoming not liking how a hero plays, because how would you do that? You know? Like, just don't play heroes that you don't enjoy playing. It's not worth it. I don't do it. You shouldn't do it. Because I don't do it. And I'm right, okay? You know? That's just science, okay? I'm sure someone in a lab somewhere looked into it, and I'm right, so don't worry about it. So, there you go. So next up is, with the future introduction of the official competitive open queue, do you think that will be a good middle ground for learning a hero as opposed to role queue, too serious, or quick play, too relaxed? It's hard to say without seeing it in practice, but I would hedge on no, probably not. Just like, it's hard to gauge how a community's reaction to a new game mode is going to be. But generally speaking with video games, right, like this, it is very hard to get people, I don't know why I said it, hard, I don't know why I said it like that. It is very hard to get people to take more than one kind of queue seriously. So my inclination is going to be that, like, if it's not the main mode, people will still think of it as being basically just quick play, and therefore it will still be too relaxed to really learn anything out of. Again, it's hard to say without seeing it in implementation, but that's just kind of how these things go usually. It's hard to get communities to take multiple modes equally serious to, or it doesn't need to be equal, but it's hard to get them to take multiple modes seriously to any kind of degree, unless there's some kind of actual tangible reward for them playing well, at which point you're basically just implementing another competitive queue, right? So, you know, it's hard to say. Maybe it will be, but I would hedge on no. This is, you know, it's an issue, right? Because, like, Overwatch, it sort of strongly encourages you to use a Smurf. Well, I mean, Not really. It depends on how seriously you take your SR, right? But most people interpret Overwatch as being one of those games that requires you to have a Smurf after a point, because people don't want to learn how to play a hero on their main account. I just heard Reinhardt fucking try to flanking Earth Shatter twice. Relax, brother. People don't want to lose their SR, so they don't want to learn a new hero on their main account because they don't want to lose the SR. And I think that's silly, personally, but I'm not everybody, right? So, but what do you do about it, right? Anytime you implement, because people have said, well, just something commonly seen is people go, well, just put in a practice mode, which is just the competitive rule set, but no SR loss or gains. The problem is that if there's no SR, people have no reason to take it seriously, right? They would think of that as basically just being the same as quick play, but you play the attack and defense round instead of just the one round, right? So, because I saw that idea go around a lot, really early on. Just put in a practice mode other than quick play. People don't take these things seriously. So, maybe it'll work, hopefully it works, right? That would be great, because right now, when someone asks you, what should I do to practice a hero I don't know how to play, the only answer you can realistically give them is just play competitive and take the SR loss on the chin, right? That's it. Because people say you can learn in quick play, but you don't, actually, So the best you can really tell someone is, play Deathmatch, because then at least you can learn the mechanical aspect of playing the character a little bit better, right? If you're trying to play, Widowmaker, Deathmatch is decent because you're playing against regular people and you're only worrying about improving, your ability to click on their heads properly, right? You're fighting all the time, but that's the best you can do, usually. So it would be great if this does work as a middle ground between the two, but I'm not optimistic just based off of history with other video games, pretty much. And, people being kind of shitty. So there you go. So next up, several questions. Top 5 Overwatch waifus, top 5 husbandos, and top 5 ships. I'll stop you right there. I don't ship anyone. That's not why I play this video game, okay? I don't sit thinking, yes, Junkrat and Roadhog would be the perfect couple, I don't sign up for that kind of thing. It's one of those it's I don't watch, One Piece and go, yes, yes, Luffy and Nami, perfect, I don't watch it for that kind of engagement. Now, waifus. I can tell you waifus, though. Top 1, obviously, Winston. Come on. It's not even close. Secondary to Winston, though, we got Sombra, then we got Ashe, then we got Mercy, and then we got... That's a hard one for the 5th place slot, to be honest with you. Because that's easy, the top 3, but then who do we do after... Well, the top 4, sorry, but then who do we do after that? Probably Anna, to be honest with you. No, Diva. Yeah, then Anna's right under Diva, though. Right under. Husbandos? A lot of the guys don't really do anything for me in Overwatch, to be honest with you. No, none of them, actually. I'm not physically attracted to any of the guys in Overwatch. No. Except Torbjorn, obviously, but I mean... Who isn't overcome with just raw animal lust when they lock eyes with Tibbleborb, It's just one of those intrinsic things we all feel naturally within us, and that's okay. There's no shame in that. He's pretty much peak specimen right there. You might not like it, but this is what peak male performance looks like. It's Tibbleborb. So yeah, I don't ship anyone, okay? It's not what I do. I guess, no, because one of them's gay. It doesn't even work. Never mind. I was gonna say one, but one of them's gay. So it wouldn't even work out like that. It's just not to be. I don't know, Emily and Tracer. Whatever, It's just not what I'm in for. All you people out there saying fucking Hanzo and McCree, by the way, y'all need Jesus, okay? Y'all need Jesus. So, anyway. So next up is, what do you think about the Rein-Sigma combo as opposed to the Rein-Zarya combo? A large amount of context. Who should my flex tank that I play with pick? So, like, you know, you would know better than me what that guy's better at, right? Like, unless I've seen them in action, I can't really say, like, which one he's better suited to playing, but I can tell you what the benefit of these two compositions, like the two combos of tanks, is opposed to each other. That's easy. So the Rein Zarya, it kind of depends on what you're going for, because the Rein Zarya is just the naturally more aggressive combination of these two combinations, right? Like, if you're gonna go Rein Toes, then what you're doing is pretty much like planning to like grind them down through shield strength, right? Because you're just doing double shield at that point. So you can just sort of grind them down a little bit more. This will also be better if like your shield's just getting absolutely demolished, because then you have another shield as the buffer right there to help you with this, right? Rein Zarya is just naturally better at helping Reinhardt do aggressive things. And Rein is better at helping Zarya do aggressive things, because Zarya bubbles Rein goes and swings, Rein got to swing without taking damage or getting crowd controlled, Zarya got charged from this action, right? They both feed into each other so well and facilitate each other so well. Toes and Reinhardt, they have less obvious synergy in this regard, but what they do have is just like the best shield strength you're gonna get, pretty much, since Orissa's shield is like made of paper now, you know? So, like, it depends on what you're going for. If you gotta, like, grind it down with the enemy team, or you're having trouble, like, advancing in, your shield's getting demolished, you know, that's when that combo is gonna be better with the Sigma and the Reinhardt. But if you don't need that, then, like, you know, I don't see any reason to not just do Rein Zarya, you know? As far as I'm concerned, Rein Zarya is fucking picture-perfect, absolute peak tank synergy performance right there. I'm a big fan of it. They both help each other so much. And like, when the Rein and the Zarya click just right, dude, it's unstoppable. You just start mashing your way straight through the bad men, and it's amazing. Toes Reinhardt, I'm just less excited about it, you know? It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me erect. It doesn't make my nipples hard. It does none of these things, you know? Because I have to look at Toes, mostly, is the issue in here. I don't really like Toes, you know? I don't hate Toes as much as I hate Orisa, but I do dislike Toes a lot. Mostly just because they nerfed him, like, really egregiously badly. Like, it became pretty severe overkill at one point, but then they kept going. You know, they just kept going for a little bit. Yeah, like, you know, I can't tell you what that guy's gonna be better at. Like, based off of the context, it sounds like it could kind of go either way, to be honest with you. If he's taking the off-angle stuff, then, like, you can make the case Toes is better, but, like, I'd still just rather have Zarya, regardless of that fact. Just, Zarya's just, like, really good, you know? Zarya is a really good hero. Especially, like, there's the other thing you have to account for, which is that Zarya has the only cleanse in the entire game, right? This is a utility that is not to be understated when you have to worry about things like Bio Grenade, you know? It's the only ability that just you scrape the fucking anti-heal off of another person, right? Like, that's incredible. Fantastic. I wish Zenyatta's Transcendence did that in like an initial burst, so he didn't get hard countered by Ana, but hey, you know, that's okay. Life's hard. So like there's a lot of effects in this game that having the bubble's just real good, you know? Like, Zarya brings such amazing utility that Toes just doesn't. Just by the bubble, because the bubble is such a good utility. Like, Toes has got a stun. That's cool, you know? It's kind of a shitty stun, but he has a stun. That's nice. He's got an ultimate that let's be honest, it's nowhere, this is not even remotely comparable to Graviton Surge, but, you know, Gravitic Flux is... It's there, you know, it's an ultimate. It's not Barrage, so that's nice, you know? But, like, it is Gravitic Flux, so that's unfortunate. But at least it's not Barrage, so there's that. It's like, cleanse, the bubble, the cleanse, Zarya's damage herself. Like, Zarya does so much fucking damage, you know? The utility of the ultimate. Man... Sigma's just not nearly as exciting, you know? And this isn't even necessarily Sigma's fault, to be honest with you, because you'll note that the approach I'm taking to this argument of Zarya being better than Toes is just, Zarya is so much better than Toes, right? Like, it's difficult for the other off-tanks to compare to Zarya in sheer terms of, like, her ability, right? Which probably means that Zarya should be nerfed, doesn't it? Which, people don't like to agree on that one. People like to say they'd much rather heroes get buffed up to meet the stronger heroes rather than having the stronger heroes nerfed down. But that's something that has a very finite cap on it, you know? Because you can't buff people forever before sooner or later everybody's just one-tapping each other, right? Like, there's a limit on that, you know? I'd rather we nerf the really strong hero, to be honest with you. Because, like, let's be honest, the heroes that are strong in Overwatch are always really obnoxiously strong, aren't they? They aren't just like, a little bit of an issue. It's always like, oh yeah, Zarya is the best off-tank in the game by a mile. Oh yeah, Ana is the best healer in the game by a mile. You know, like, it's never close with these things, is it? So, I'd rather that we didn't have, like, 4 people bouncing around the map that are as strong as Zarya. You know, personally, that's just me. But, whatever. So, yeah, that got, like, pretty off topic, but Ryan Zarya is really good. Like, your man needs to, it needs to be, like, certain compositions, or your man just needs to be really better at Sigma compared to Zarya, you know, for it to be justified as far as I'm concerned, outside of the specific instances of, like, I just need more shield, you know? So there you go. So, next up is, what heroes are the best support duo for Dive with an Echo? Secondarily, what heroes are the best support duo for a Ryan, Zarya, Pharah / Widow / Echo / McCree comp? Well, I mean, so we'll do the duo with Dive with Echo first, I guess, because that's the shorter answer. I mean, like, if you're doing Dive with an Echo, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, unless you're going for something specific for your particular setup of people, it's gotta be, like, Mercy Ana. That's just, like, you know, kinda it. Maybe, like, Mercy Lucio, but, like, you gotta lacking on the healing at that point. You gotta be real confident in this dive you're gonna execute at that point, right? You could do, like, Ana Zen, Ana Lucio, you know? You can just do those and just, like, not really worry about the Echo too much as far as it goes, right? But, like, Mercy works pretty good with Echo. It's not like, you know, Mercy Echo's not as exciting as Pharmacy is, obviously. I'm not sure who the person is in this game. I guess it doesn't matter, right? It's not like we're actually watching it. We could just pick a guy out of the hat. I'm gonna pick Krayoff. I think that might be the person, actually. That's the guy I'm picking. Anyway, we're gonna watch the frog. Like, Echo Mercy's not as exciting as Pharmacy, but, you know, it's still pretty good. Like, Echo still does, like, if Echo's good, Echo does a lot of damage, right? So, you know, when you go with Dive, you don't really get that many options, to be honest, you know, because, like, Moira doesn't work that well with Dive, because Moira has trouble keeping up with the Dive comp, you know, is kind of an issue. She can't follow them to high ground if they're going up there to contest somebody, right? Like, it's an issue. Bridget's way too slow, though. She does at least have the armor packs. You know, again, she just has trouble keeping up with the dive comp, unless you were to partner her with a Lucio, I guess, but the lacking in mobility thing is still going to kind of be an issue. Zen Lucio is what we used to do, but this is just, like, hilariously not enough healing, right? Not these days, anyway. So, you don't get many options in regards to dive. So, like, it's gonna kind of be, like, some combination of Mercy, Lucio, and Ana. Maybe Zen, but, like, that's a risky proposition, isn't it, now? It kind of depends what you're going with, you know? Like, if you're really confident in your Echo player, then you definitely want to go with the Mercy to make the Echo better. If, you know, you're not so confident, or, like, you know, maybe you've got, like, a Beast Zenyatta player, who knows, right? Like, Zenyatta can work with people that fly as well. He's not much, but he's got something, right? Like, yeah, like, that's kind of, you don't get a lot of options with dive, so, like, those, you know, it's kind of gonna be what you get, really. And the second one, for Rein, Zarya, and then some combination of Pharah, Widow, Echo, McCree. I mean, Mercy looks real good with that, for me, regardless, because no matter what combination of DPS you pick in there, Mercy's got people to work with, right? Like, all of those people work well with Mercy, so, like, Mercy's looking real good right there, regardless. Now, the problem is there, that Mercy has to pretty much occupy the off-healer slot, which means you don't get to have the Lucio, right? This doesn't necessarily matter with these kinds of comps, though, right? Because you don't necessarily need to speed boost on them if you got two people that are flying on them instead, right? And, like, you know, Widow doesn't need to exactly go in, so if it's like Widow Pharah, you're not exactly hurting from the lack of the Lucio, but, you know, you don't get to have sound barrier, and that's always going to be sad, isn't it? So, like, but, like, Mercy works well with all of those DPS, so that's looking pretty good. And then, like, the main healer, you know, depending on who you've got, Baptiste is kind of, like, flatly off the table, right? Because, like, if you're doing Pharah Echo, you can't do Baptiste, pretty much, because he's not going to be hitting those people very often, is he? And so then you get Ana and you get Moira. Again, if they're flying, Moira doesn't usually get to help them very much, but there's utility in the fact that Moira can just keep the tank line really healthy for her healing output. While the flying people are off doing whatever, and so they don't necessarily need input from the Moira player. Ana can at least still hit them, and Ana's, of course, still, like, just really fucking good, you know? So yeah, the answer is kind of looking mostly the same for both of those answers, to be honest with you, where it's going to be some combination of Mercy, Moira, Ana, and Lucio, pretty much, you know. Lucio doesn't really look that exciting with it, because there are certain combinations, like, if you're just pick and choose out of any of those DPS, there are combinations you can pick where you're not too upset that you don't have the speed boost, but you'll pretty much always still be upset that you don't have sound barrier, right? Or just a defensive ultimate, I guess. Baptiste could kind of cover that. Moira can kind of cover that, just because, like, Moira does a lot of healing, Baptiste got the lamp, so they kind of cover that absence, but, you know, it's still not sound barrier, right? And Ana's still great, so, you know. Yeah, but, like, as far as I'm, you know, Mercy, you know, Mercy's looking real good, real good. So that's pretty much what I got for you on that one. It's kind of rambling and incoherent, wasn't it? We'll try and streamline that a little bit. So first one, some combo of Mercy, Ana, Lucio. And then second one, some combination of Ana, Mercy, Lucio, Ana, Mercy, Lucio, Moira, pretty much, like, as far as I see it. Maybe Baptiste, but, like, that's kind of how I see it with those. Mercy just looks so good with all of these things, pretty much. And then, so, next up, and this is the last question for this week, is, if you lived in the Overwatch world, which faction would you belong to? This is going to be a lot of questions, actually. Overwatch or Talon, or somewhere else? What role would you fall under? What sort of abilities would you have? What's your call sign? Yes, I'm basically asking you to create an Overwatch FC, why did you ask? So, first off, I want to be a melee hero. Alright, I don't want a gun. I want to have a polearm, I want to have a glaive, and I wanna do that, okay? Polearms are sick, and it's upsetting that we don't have anybody that uses a polearm, unless you count Mercy slapping them with the Caduceus staff. So I want to be melee. I want to have some kind of ranged attack, some kind of ranged ability, you know, Fire Strike, analogous, doesn't have to be as good as Fire Strike, whatever. I just want something. And then I want, like, I want a movement ability as the other one. I want to basically, like, pole vault, so that I can, like, get up places and just, like, get on people. And I want, very specifically, I want to have a combo attack for the left click, where it's like 2 slashes, and then the third slash does something different. Maybe like a thrust, so it's got extra range, or the third one is like, has like execute properties, so it does more damage to people if they're below half health, or something like that. I want it to be a combo. And, I don't know what role, really, you know. I guess if we're going with that, we're pretty much saying either a DPS or, like, an off-tank, pretty much. I don't really care which one, though I guess I'd prefer off-tank as just being, like, a damaging, disrupt-y kind of off-tank kind of thing. I don't know what my ult would be. I guess it would kind of depend, because it would either slant more towards DPS or, tank, right? Maybe just some kind of, like, short-ish AoE CC ability. You know, you jump into the badman, you spin the staff, and you knock everyone up for a second, you know? Kind of like Toes' ultimate, but it lacks, like, the half-damage property, and it's not as long, so it's just kind of like a disruption. Maybe it does more damage up front, but it doesn't have, like, the half-damage property, and the CC effect isn't as long. Something like that. Or, I guess if we were going like a DPS one, it's kind of like maybe some kind of like line AoE damage, just like dash straight through the badman. Something like that. Something along those lines. I do very firmly want to be a melee hero, though, with a staff. Polearms are sick, okay? They're pretty large, unwieldy weapons. It takes a great deal of finesse to wield something like a glaive with any degree of, like, artistry to it, shall we say, you know. So I always love polearms. I definitely want to be that. I wouldn't want to side with Overwatch or Talon, to be honest with you. Neither of them really do it for me as far as an organization goes. If I had to pick one of them, it would be Overwatch, but I'd rather be neutral, to be honest with you. Because I would like to imagine myself as being more just kind of like what Reinhardt was doing in that one comic, where he's just like kind of like bouncing around the world, like randomly fighting crime, essentially, you know? I'd rather do something like that than join Overwatch. I'd rather just be like a vigilante, essentially. Or a mercenary, you know, whichever way you wanted to swing it, I guess. I'd rather be something like that. Call sign? Fuck, I don't know, dude. It'd be something really lame, I'm sure, you know? I don't know what it would be, but I'm sure I'd have some kind of call sign where when you say it's, oh yes, I'm X, and they go, really? You just named yourself Big Stick, or something like that? You know? Yeah. That's what I'm going with, pretty much. Glaive, 3-hit combo, tank or DPS, don't really care. Some kind of ranged attack, a movement ability, whichever of those for the ult that I said. Neutral, but Overwatch if forced to pick, and some kind of lame call sign like Big Stick, Pointy Stick, you know, something like that. Yeah, that's what I got for you. So, there you go. That's all the questions for this week, and we didn't have to go to Reddit. Sick, dude. So, thank you very much for watching. Oh, by the way, if you saw your game playing in the background, don't worry. This doesn't mean we're not gonna do it. We're just gonna do it in a few days, as long as Blizzard doesn't drop a fucking patch on me out of nowhere and ruin the replay. Someone was concerned about this last week. They were like, so are you not gonna do those games? No, we still will, as long as they don't suddenly drop a patch on me like today, which I worry about constantly, but as long as that doesn't happen, it's still in there. Don't worry. So, yeah, so thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. More than happy to answer. If you have a question that you want to be answered, please join the Discord. We have a channel over there specifically for it. Doesn't have to be about Overwatch. It can be about whatever. You do you, brother. Start streaming on Twitch Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 8 p.m. EST to 11 EST, though we've missed like all of this week, but you know, we'll get back on track. 7 p.m. 8 p.m. EST to 11 EST. There's links to channel in the description. If you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future. And I hope you found the video helpful.